All right, I need to get this out into the universe. Might as well do it while I have time. And I mean, I hate to be like trendy and use trendy YouTube words, right? We watch YouTube and it's like, oh, here's this code word. Okay. But you see that right there. So I'm going to have to like maybe make up some things as I go, or I'll just use what everybody else uses, or I'll just spell it. I don't know, man. But this is a decoding channel. You need to know that. Ex NBA player Ben McLemore sentenced to over 8 years in prison for for inappropriate sexual behavior. Some you see the thumbnail, right? You see the thumbnail. How did they come up with? Obviously, it rhymes. Eating some grapes, right? But you see that right there. So he sentenced 8 years. Ben McLemore. I've never really heard of the character. His last season with Portland. It looks like was decent. 10.2 points. I mean that's serviceable. An Oregon judge on Wednesday sentenced him. He's a former player now, obviously, but sentenced to over 8 years in prison a week after a jury found him guilty of the grape of a woman at a 2021 party. And the reason why I like to be semi careful with the words, because if I can do something, like I said, I'm a decoding channel. If I can do something to benefit more people watching the channel, and I'm not saying this didn't happen or anything like that, but I'm a decoding channel and I see interesting connections. Okay, so if I have to adjust some words, or especially that in particular, then I'm gonna do it. Okay, so don't cringe over it. But found guilty of it, and this was against a woman in 2021. It was a party at home of a then teammate, and it's Robert Covington right here. You see Robert Covington, and he last played for the 76ers. So I don't know what his situation is going on there, but you see him right there. But they were teammates with Portland, okay? So the ex Trailblazer was sentenced to 100 months in prison by Clackamas County Circuit Court Judge Michael Wetzel. Portland TV station KGW reported the jury last week found the 32-year-old guilty of graping and unlawful sexual penetration and one count of sexual abuse. He was found not guilty on another count of sexual abuse. The charges involved a 21-year-old woman and stemmed from a party at the home of then teammate Robert Covington. So that's 2021 and a 21-year-old woman. And this was in the Portland suburb of Lake Oswego. During the trial, Clackamas County prosecutors described the sexual encounter as RAPE. The defense argued it was consensual. The woman testified that she was incapacitated due to alcohol and was unable to consent. So you get a lot of these stories going on. Look what just happened with Diddy, right? Remember, like Shannon Sharp. McLemore, who played college at Kansas, was the seventh pick in 2013. in the draft by the Kings. He also played for Memphis, Houston, and the Lakers before his last season with Portland in 21-22. Since then, he has played professionally overseas in Europe, China, and Turkey. And this is an Associated Press article, okay? And that's everything they give us with the article. So I pull up video here as well. And let's attempt to watch this. This looks like Fox 12. Maybe this is out of Portland. Let's check it out.
Portland Trailblazer is set to spend more than 8 years in prison after he was found guilty of rape during his time with the team.
In court today, the victim spoke just before the judge handed down his sentence.
This has been the longest 4 years of my life.
8 years and 4 months. That's how long Ben McLemore will be in prison after being found guilty of raping a woman at a house party back in 2021. It happened while the 32-year-old was on the Portland Trailblazers team at the Lake Oswego home of his then teammate, Robert Covington.
I've had to continue on with my life with a piece of it left unresolved. These last few years have often felt like a weight that I've had to drag behind me, a constant reminder of the trauma that I haven't fully been able to work through because there was no ending in sight.
He wasn't arrested and indicted until just last year, and today the victim addressed the court, speaking about the years-long process it took for justice to be served.
This experience has taken an immense toll on my emotional and mental health. It's changed me in ways that I've never expected, and yet I've carried this burden in silence. Thanks to the jury's verdict, I can finally feel a weight being lifted. A weight that I've carried for far too long, and while I can't truly describe the relief that I feel, I know that today I stand a little taller and a little freer.
McLemore was found guilty of several charges, including first-degree rape, despite his claims that the sexual encounter was consensual.
He used my vulnerability against me and then had the audacity to lie about the disgusting act that he committed.
The victim said in court today that she hopes this trial will be a testament that no one is above the law, no matter their status.
So many times we hear about people in positions of power or fame avoiding accountability, but I knew that no matter how famous Mr. McLemore was or how much he may have loved and respected his family, he was still capable of hurting someone else.
McLemore was also sentenced to 11 and a half years of post-prison supervision and will have to register as a sex offender.
Okay. And like I said, I'm a decoding channel. I'm not here to like say that this stuff doesn't happen, but I am here to say that there's interesting connections that pop up. And, you know, we use something called this calculator right here, which turns the letters into numbers, right? And it seems to hit a lot, and we catch other patterns as well. There are cases out there where there's accusations that are made falsely as well, okay? I think that when things hit the trending news, it's by the numbers. I mentioned you got a lot of that Diddy stuff going on. So it's not surprising to me that this story hits, okay? So I guess, you know, with all of that being said, you tell me, what do you think? Isn't this interesting? There's some kind of code being utilized here because Ben McLemore sentenced to 100 months in prison. That's 8 years and 4 months. And McLemore equals 84 in the language. Even Ben McLemore the third equals 84. I just remove his middle name there. Right? 100 months. So you got 12 months in a year. And 12 months in a year. 12, 24, 36, 48 months is 4 years. Times 2 is 96 months. So that's 8 years. Add 4 more months. That's 8 years and 4 months. So he gets sentenced 8 years, 4 months, and it syncs up with his name, 84. I mean, Even when I have been in trouble in the past, I caught some weird connections like, oh, the date to appear back is scheduled for this day. I'm like, huh? What? Things like that. You just got to keep track. It comes from somewhere, it comes from a system a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? So, an Oregon judge on Wednesday sentenced former NBA player Ben McLemore. Oregon equals 88 in the reverse cipher, y'all. And most articles are just going to say sentenced to 8 years or just over 8 years, as you see right there. So Oregon's got 88 in the language, in the reverse cipher, and you get an 8-year sentence, and then more specific, 8 years, 4 months. Wow. I just caught something on the fly. So we can even take the 100 months right there. And I think Trailblazers equals 100. And that's the last NBA team he played for. Is it Portland? There's 100 in here somewhere. I think it's Portland. What is it? Oh, without the S? Portland equals 100. That's on the fly right there. Look at that right there. Just to add to whatever else I have. Now, doesn't that... So let's say this all happened, it's all real. It's a real world. Think about that with the reality show Real World. But then it's all staged, right? Remember that? And all the reality shows? Where, okay, it appears that on the reality show, look, they're really fighting, but it's staged. Look at this. So it appears that there's some kind of code going on here, doesn't it? Portland has 100. Look how that lands on the fly. Look how that lands on the fly with the 100 right there. You see that? On the fly with the 100. Isn't that amazing right there? And then how it breaks down to 8 years, 4 months, and it connects with his name. And then Oregon 88. So the charges involved the 21-year-old. Remember, this is from a 2021 incident, stemmed from a party at a home owned by then teammate Robert Covington. R's got the R as it, that word in the title that I don't really want to say. But look, Robert Covington's got 80 in his name, like the 8 years, 80 like 8, Oregon 88. He connects to this last video I dropped. Philadelphia workers and city reach a deal to end strike that halted residential trash pickup. Philadelphia, the last team he played for, look at, he matched up with the numbers in that decode. Strike has 80 and workers have 80 like Robert Covington. Strike's got 82 like Robert Covington. This also connects to Kobe Bryant because Kobe Bryant's born in Philadelphia and Bryant equals 80 and 82. And that's on the fly right there. So it's like, what's going on? Even Kobe Bryant, look at that 8. Kobe began his NBA career wearing 88. Even this 33 hits with Kobe Bryant because in high school, Kobe Bryant wore 33. Robert Covington, you see him for Philly right there. He's got the 33 on his jersey. Trash equals 33. And all of those 33s from that last breakdown I did that was Philadelphia. So now we get Covington. And this supposedly happened at his house in 2021. His ex-teammate Ben McLemore getting charged for this. of the 21-year-old female in the year 21. So Robert Covington, every time there's an article and they bring up another character on the world stage, you got to look into that other character and look at all the threes to go with the 33 there, right? So that's wild. And remember, Kobe connected with Philly, born in Philly. Kobe had that 33 for Lower Marion. Was it Lower Marion? Whatever the high school was, he had 33 on his jersey in high school as well. So even Ben McLemore out of Kansas, the Kansas Jayhawks college, he was picked in the 2013 draft. 20 plus 13 is 33. I mean, come on, right? All those 33s with that last breakdown. Now you get the Philadelphia connection. More 33s. We could go deeper into the 23 and basketball, whatever, right? LeBron, MJ, the 13 draft. Remember Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant equal 113. But that's all documented if you follow decoding channels. He was drafted by the Kings, even. Come on. As I mentioned, look at that. He also played for the Lakers. You see that? King James, Laker. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, right? But, trying to stay semi-focused here. Now, I want you to check this out, and we have another connection. He's got this 2/11 birthday, February 11. Notice how his last birthday was the 42nd day of the year. McLemore equals 42. Birthday in February. February equals 42. This rapper McLemore currently is age 42. You see that? Rapper McLemore currently age 42. Look at the names. MC Lamore with Ben. Mac Lamore. But you kind of say it the same, right? This stuff's all with the language because this rapper is age 42 with the same last name. Well, this is a stage name, I guess. I don't really know but that's his stage name, Macklemore. Dude, he's 42 years old. The last team that Ben McLemore played for, the Trailblazers, in the reverse cipher, 181. That's a 42nd prime number. Look at that. Look to the right, RAPE. There's only 4 base ciphers. Look at that. 40 and 22, which is like 42. What's up with that? I mean, sympathy with anybody who's got to go through any of this, even on both sides. If, let's say, somebody, not if you committed the act, I mean, shame on you. This day and age, people are terrified of this. I would think, speaking from a male's perspective, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, and this was 2021. But man, sometimes we can't even compliment a female sometimes without them getting all upset. You know what I'm saying? So, but look at that, 40 and 22, like 42. Okay? Isn't geez, right? So look at the 42, and this number 42 by the language has some bad connections with black folks, okay? Some words like I don't even like want to say because I don't like to speak anything. Words are powerful, you know what I mean? But you have slavery, right? And you know what? His birthday is in Black History Month. Wow. His birthday is in Black History Month. On the fly, I just caught that. You see that? 42 right there. That's just one example, okay? The stuff is documented. If you watch any channels related to mine, you should know this by now, okay? So look at that right there, 42, right? And wow, his birthday is in Black History Month, okay? You know, I don't want to really type it out. You could put the N word and you get 42. I mean, these are facts, okay? This is the language, right? This is the language, okay? Isn't that wild? Look at how he averaged 10.2 points in his last season. What did I just show you? Look at Slavery 102, like 10.2 points on the fly right there. You think I'm kidding about this code? I'm just here to report it. That's the points average in his last season on the fly. Look at his rebounds. Look at Covington, 3.3 rebounds even in his last season with Philly. There's another 33 right there. You know, you could go look at how his parent is Dennis Bryant and Teresa Bryant. Look at this. Look at over on the right. Parents, Dennis and Teresa Bryant. And I brought up on the fly the Kobe Bryant 33 connection with Philadelphia. You think I'm playing? You think I'm playing? Dude's parents are last name Bryant. It's a fake world that we live in. Lower Marion. It's a fake world that we live in. Okay? I want you to understand it's a fake world that we live in. Please understand that. So, you know, you want to strike me down in the algorithm because I say it's a fake world we live in? Okay. Strike me down. You get on the fly connections right there. I don't think it's a coincidence that McLemore, the rapper, his birthday is June 19th. Freedom Day. Celebrating the end of slavery. Okay? Look, he's got the Juneteenth birthday. So Ben McLemore has got the Black History Month birthday. Macklemore, the rapper, has the Juneteenth freaking birthday in the June. And what's up with the two different? You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's, you know, the more the better, I guess, but which one's legitimate? You know what I'm saying? What do you think about that? And we just had Independence Day. You know what I'm saying? With the history with the country in Philadelphia, with that 76ers connection. Explain Independence Day with Philadelphia. You see that? In strict Independence Day is linked to Philadelphia, as it was in this city that the Declaration of Independence was adopted. Look, in 76. In 1776, like the 76ers. Come on, man. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Of course, right? The Philadelphia 76ers. Let's not forget. I'm assuming that's why they're called the 76ers. Don't forget Michael Jordan equals 76. Why are they called the 76ers? Yeah, okay. Right. Call me ignorant or whatever. So yeah, there you go right there, of course, right? Look at how this all connects. Don't forget Michael Jordan. Ooh. Michael Jordan does got that 76, but look at this. Wow, slaves got the 76, man. Look at that. Slaves got the 59 like Michael Jordan. Look at that, man. Negro has the 76 and that 59 again. It's just a straight up fake world. Okay? It's a straight up fake world that we live in. Look at the connections. Don't forget that's Kobe Bryant again. Michael Jordan equals 238. You know what I'm saying? LeBron James equals 42. Lakers equals 42. Lakers has that 21. This incident was in 21. And the lady was age 21. I don't think they're releasing information on her. We heard her speak. And this just some extra connections here because look at it says ex NBA player in the title right there. And I just think that's interesting that ex NBA player syncs up with McLemore and Ben McLemore. Like some kind of lottery, possibly. Oh, we got this incident, that is going to happen. I'm just saying, don't hold it against me. Right? If this is because you're telling me,
Former
look, you're telling me back at the beginning here that there's not something to this. Okay, so maybe it happens and then everything that comes with it is by the numbers, right? But you're telling me uh was it Portland that equaled 100 and he gets sentenced 100 months and that's his last team? And 100 months is 8 years, 4 months, and McLemore equals 84 and Ben McLemore the third equals 84. And most stories just say 8 years and this is out of Oregon equals 88. And then Robert Covington equals 80, just like this other Philadelphia story, strike and workers with the trash pickup, strike and workers as the 80. And Bryant is out of Philadelphia, Kobe, and Bryant equals 80 and 82. There's certain numbers that just connect with a certain area. When you go to jail or prison or whatever, what do? They bunch you into categories. We're bunched into categories. Do you understand? And then everything hits by the numbers, man. It's not a coincidence.
Former Portland Trailblazer Ben McLemore showed little emotion after a Clackamas County jury found him guilty of rape following a 2.5-week trial. The jury convicted him on 3 counts: first-degree rape, first-degree sexual
3 counts. That's another 3. And don't forget that 23 on the jersey, man. They better be playing the volume on the footage.
penetration, and second-degree sexual abuse. Prosecutor Scott Healy.
You just don't do something like this to somebody and get away with it. I don't care who you are.
Prosecutors say McLemore raped a 21-year-old woman at a party in October of 2021. The assault happened at the Lake Oswego home.
God, 1021 in the year. Is that what they said? Hold on.
In October of 2021, the assault happened.
October of 2021, 1021 and a 21-year-old. 1021 is like 121, 1021.
Happened at the Lake Oswego home of McLemore's then teammate Robert Covington. During trial, the woman testified she was incapacitated after a night of heavy drinking.
Yeah, it does happen.
And former Portland Trail.
Jeez, man. They said 3 counts, so that's another 3. And then that 8, don't forget Kobe's birthday's even in the 8th month, man. Does Ben Franklin have a connection to Philadelphia? Ben Franklin, Philadelphia? Benjamin Franklin Museum looks like it's in Philadelphia. Don't tell me that Ben Franklin's born in Philadelphia. Please don't. Please don't. He died in Philadelphia, dude. Ben Franklin died in Philadelphia, man. Good God. And this is Ben McLemore synced up with Robert Covington, who's synced up with the Philadelphia 76ers. And the last trending story I covered was Philadelphia. Come on, man. Ben Franklin is born on Michelle Obama's birthday. You get the 1706, you get the 7 and the 6 in there. God damn it, man. Ben Franklin, founding father of the United States is what it says right there. Look at that. Benjamin Franklin, like Ben McLemore, all synced up with the rapper Macklemore with the Juneteenth birthday, dude. Good God, man. Man, it's freaking wild, dude. So you get a raw breakdown from me. This is me for real, for real. These are the slides I put together. One of these days I don't have that record button on. You can't recapture it. And I just have to give up. Soak up the information. What do you think, man? Ex-NBA player Ben McLemore sentenced to over 8 years in prison. RAPE. It's completely by the numbers, not saying it didn't happen. It did happen. That's what the story is from the Associated Press. It's completely by the numbers. Until next time.